Well, hi again, everybody, and welcome to basketball season right here on 630thefan.com.
Oh, we got a little bit of feedback.
Yep.
We need to take our pot. There we go. Nope. We need to take our. Is that out yet? Nope, not quite yet. I think the Ryan is brand new back there at the station. I believe the signal that we're sending to you, I think that second button is pushed. It needs to not be pushed. Because I keep hearing, there we go, because I hear myself and that makes me want to turn the radio off.
There you go.
I'm just saying. All right. Now we're ready to roll here.
All right, let's try it again. We are here at Timberline High School. No, that's not going to work.
Okay. Well, actually, here, let me give some closed circuit message again, Ryan. If you have your mic open, close your mic because we can hear ourselves feeding back through there. All right.
All right, good enough.
Take 3. Here we go.
There you go. I figure that might be what it is, having a mic open down there. And so, what's worse about that is that people, if you're not into radio, you not only talk, but then you hear yourself 5 seconds later. So it's like, I'm the luckiest man on the earth today.
Exactly.
So at any rate, let's go all over again. It's a redo. It's a mulligan. It's like my golf game. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Timberline High School, where we've got the high school basketball season getting underway. Wayne Zubak along with Dave Burnett. And tonight, the team should be a competitive game, Dave. Take a look at the season ahead. Obviously, you've got teams like Bora and Rocky that are loaded. They've got people coming back. And, in fact, most of the preseason polls say they are the teams to beat. But you got teams like Nampa that last year made it to the playoffs, had kind of a 500-type season, but still got into the playoffs. You got Timberline, who was strong all year long, lost all their starters, doesn't have a starter back, but they've got more depth this year than they've had in the past. So a lot of things like that going for them, and I'm kind of interested to see how it all kind of lays out here tonight with these two teams and for the first couple of 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah, for head coach Bruce Logston of Timberline, this has got to be a little bit scary going into it. Now, they got a little bit under the belt. I think they have played 1 or 2 games, but you've got to figure out your whole rotation, your whole chemistry. You lost all of your starters. You lost 9 seniors last year.
Yep.
And so you've got to kind of refigure the chemistry out and see what you got. On the other hand, Nampa is returning a few guys. Now, they did lose Shuck, who was quite the scorer, quite the baller for him out there on the court. You lost him from this year, but you got Davenport back. You got a number of guys who are back for the Bulldogs this year. Let's see.
Well, look at the big guy, Anthony Walker, who you talk about. Hasn't gained much in weight really over the season, but you know what? He's 6'7". He's a big kid, and we'll see. He looked good last year, and I think he's 1 year older, 1 year smarter.
Yep, I think so. He also has several other starters. Walker was not a starter last year, but he came off the bench and contributed. But you got Cooper Wilcox back, Robbie Brown is back. As I mentioned, Rob Davenport is back. So if you're the Bulldogs, you got some guys that have some chops. They got that experience out on the court. So it's kind of the untested against the tested. It's the what has been a 5A school for quite some time, Timberline, against the team that moved up for last year to 5A against Nampa. But they did go into the playoffs and did well in the playoffs.
Well, we look for an interesting game here tonight. Timberline kind of doing a Power of Pink thing tonight, where they're going to have some donations going to the Mountain States Tumor Institute, Misty. So they're in their pink warm-ups right now. They'll have their white uniforms on. I was looking over to Nampa. They got really nice red warm-ups on, but the uniforms look cool. I mean, their colors are red and white, Dave, but they've got some brown mixed in there, and it's really got an earth tone to it. I kind of like the uniforms. The end that they've got down there on the leg really looks good. Yep. I think they're really sharp-looking uniforms for Nampa.
Yeah, it is. Obviously, it's a road uniform, so looking good. And if you're not streaming yet, you can at 630thefan.com. That way you can see what we're talking about and keep track of what's happening in the game tonight. So looking forward to it. We're making that transition. We did the Shriners game last weekend in football. Now we're making the transition to basketball. So it's a total, for me, and you've been doing this for at least 50 years.
Give or take, yeah.
But for me, it's a big transition to switch over to basketball.
It's different. There's no question about it. And you got to keep your eyes peeled because the fouls come fast and furious sometimes. But what's interesting, I hit on a little bit about Bora and Rocky being the two teams that everybody said really should win the championship this year. They are both kind of number one.
I think, you know, what's interesting is Capital's in the mix, but then Capital's got a couple of things to deal with. One of those things is Talon Pinckney, who was their standout last year, has transferred to Centennial. So a lot of things we haven't seen, and it's going to be different to see how those things play out.
Well, at Capital, you have a new head coach who's in there, not new to the Valley. Scott Morgan came in from Valley View, where over 2 seasons he won 2 games. And now, 2 league games, I should say. And now he's the head coach of Capital, which has always been in the hunt. We'll see what he does with that crop of talent and what happens there. So you have some things that have juggled out, but I'll tell you, and I mentioned this last Wednesday in our high school fanfare extra, I kind of expect to see Rocky Mount do well. Moby Lee, the 6'10" kid who's a junior this year.
Yeah, if he can get his foot better, he's still kind of nursing a sore foot.
Yep, which, you know, you get that big, I'm sorry, you have parts that kind of are tough to take care of.
Well, you remember John Coker years ago for Boise State? He had the worst feet in the world because they just kept getting beat up on these hard courts.
Yep.
That's why they call it hardwoods. I mean, they are tough on the body and tough on the feet especially, and you really have to get yourself together. And if you've got kind of a propensity to have feet problem, this is not a good game for you. So we'll see what happens to Kobe Lee, and hopefully he'll get in there because he's a dandy to see.
That he is. So we need to probably take a break. What do you think? We're about 4 minutes away from getting this thing going.
Sure, we can take a break, see where we go. You know, I don't know when the national anthem's going to be played. I'm rolling with the punches here tonight on a Friday night as we get going.
And when we come back, we got some good gossip, some good rumors, and some good news for you.
We got some football stuff to talk about. We're not getting out of the football season yet.
Yep.
We'll talk about that both locally and down towards Provo way. All that coming up. We'll take a 2-minute break. We'll be back here at Timberline High School as we're getting ready for the high school basketball season as the Timberwolves getting ready to host the Nampa Bulldogs on 630 The Fan.
Just go straight to breaks. You're going to have to play a liner. Liner just is coming back. Yeah. Because otherwise, during the course of the game, we won't have enough time.
Okay.
Yep. Why are we playing PSAs? We should just play the spots off the bus bar.
Yeah, maybe a thing.
Oh, just up those PSAs out there. It's filling the spots, so you might drag the spots down in there.
Okay. Welcome back, everybody, to Timberline High School. Wayne Duzu back along with Dave Burnett as we get ready for Timberline against Nampa to tip off the season for us. And while we wait, let's talk just a little bit about football. I was on Twitter a moment ago, checking out Twitter, and Trayton Bell was on there, and Trey Bell from the Mavericks announcing that he has his first collegiate football offer.
Yep, he does, and it's from right here in the Gym State, which is good news. I'd like to see him stay close to home, but we'll see if that's...
It's Idaho State. Now, I kept waiting for you to give us the news.
I was going to let you do it, but nonetheless so.
I didn't want to steal your thunder for sure.
Yeah. And then the other news, and that is out of BYU, but we have the national anthem to get to, so let's do this.
Yeah, well, Bronco Mendenhall, we can just tell you real quick, Bronco Mendenhall, even for Virginia.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that? I mean, that's a surprise to me. I thought he was a lifer at,
I
you
do
know.
too. So Let's do this. So let's take a 2-minute break, and we're going to do the national anthem. So we'll come back here on Sports Radio 630, The Fan.
We need to hear the spots, Ryan. Thank you. Hey, welcome everybody to Timberline High School. Wayne Duzubak, Dave Burnett with you, getting ready for our high school basketball season. Brought to you in part by Steve's Hometown Toyota. Worth a short drive to Ontario to save big money. By Go Wireless, now get 50% more data. Boise Muffler, let the Boise Muffler Shop help simplify your day. Foot and Ankle Medical Center with locations in Nampa, Fruitland, Mountain Home, and Emmett. By Double R Ranch, Northwest Beef, hand-selected and unsurpassed flavor. By the Battery Exchange, twice the power at half the cost. Locations in Boise, Meridian, and Caldwell. And by Pioneer Federal Credit Union, moving your money forward. Again tonight, Timberline against Nampa. And again, first chance we've had an opportunity to see some of the talent this year, some of the changes, some of the things that are going on. It should be interesting. Dave, you mentioned that really for Nampa, they've got guys like Riley Brown, Cooper Wilcox, and Rob Davenport. Really the nucleus of that starting lineup last year.
Yeah, other than Shuck, who has graduated, they've got that nucleus back. So for the Bulldogs, they should be very comfortable with each other and what they're doing on offense and on defense. That year of experience of working together, that really makes a huge difference when it comes to basketball.
I think the thing about J.D. Shutt and the thing that was tough about him, he could really put some points on the board. He would give you 20 every night. So really, Nampa's going to have to find some way to get that scoring back. Meanwhile, as you mentioned, those starters back from a year ago for Timberline. However, head coach Bruce Loxton thinks he's probably got a little better depth.
Yeah, and that is just going to be an experience issue more than anything for Timberline on that. Now they do have a name that is known, and that would be Brock Rice. And the reason his name is known, he comes from basketball bloodlines. Coach Rice at Boise State is his dad. I was looking to see if he's here tonight or not.
They're on the way to Portland. They play Portland tomorrow night at Portland. So I'm sure unless he's got the private jet.
Well, yeah, or if he's got video streaming going, which he might have a little video.
He may be up there in Portland just kind of taking it easy watching this game. Brock scored 17 a couple of nights ago as Timberline beat Caldwell. The final there was 54-40.
Yep, so Brock does know how to put the ball in the hole. 630thefan.com, that is the website that you can go to and just look for the Timberline and Nampa symbol and hit that one-click in and you're streaming live video this evening.
All right, looking forward to it here tonight, and it looks like it's going to be Taylor Becker, a 6'2 senior, jumping up here to start this game against Josh Clayton. as they get ready again. Dave, like I said, those kind of, I don't know if they're brown, really. They look brown.
Kind of gray and
Kind of
brown.
gray-brown, yeah. I'm glad my eyes aren't so bad there. I thought they were brown at first. Now they look a little gray-brown once I get to see all of them. But really neat-looking uniforms, and it's going to be controlled by Timberline. Brock Rice comes right in there and gets it, and then just like that, off his foot, Chris Wagner sends it out of bounds, and so here comes Nampa with a ball.
Yeah, Brock Rice jumped in front, grabbed the ball at the tip-off, but they weren't able to control it.
So here come the Nampa Bulldogs down, and it'll be Riley Brown who'll be doing the honors there, and he's going to work against Zach Center. He dumps it off to Casey Weber. Weber to take Taylor Becker. Nampa just kind of working it around. Becker pull-up jumper from the top of the key, not there. Rebound comes down to Clayton for Timberline. So Timberline comes up with the first rebound of the game. Just underway, 7:25 to go here in the first period. No score, looking for our first bucket. And Timberline has the basketball with Zach Center setting up the offense on the right side.
Timberline's in all white as we mentioned before. I think those are gray uniforms on here.
Getting down with the gray now rather than the brown.
Yeah, I'm going with gray. After looking at the video screen and a closer look at the uniform, they are gray. Kind of up in the crow's nest.
Yeah, we're not necessarily, we're like a football game.
Yeah, we're up in the top of the gym here.
Some gymnasiums on a high school level have us right down, on the court. Some have us up top, and Timberline has us up top. Very comfortable, but so far no score. Brock Rice, here's the pass inside. It's going to be knocked away. Chris Wagner had it knocked away, but it was off at Nampa. So Rice will bring it in bounds on the near side of the court here.
Kind of interesting, Nampa not using Anthony Walker to start the 6'7" center.
Rice, the feed back underneath, and a jam in there by Josh Clayton. Here's our first 2 points of the night, and a nice feed from Brock Rice on the assist. 6:48 to go, first period, 2-0 in favor of Timberline. And the ball is lost there. Riley Brown couldn't find a handle. Here comes Rice. Rice backs it out, takes the three, skims across the rim, not there. Rebound to Nampa. Here comes Brown with it now. Riley Brown, right side, he'll stop it and get it back outside. Noah Ingram looks over his coach and says, okay, we'll slow it down just for a second there, Coach Morris. Right side they go. Rodriguez driving, little jumper. He's going to be, is it an offensive foul? It is.
It is. They called it on him. Felt he did not have control as he went to the lane.
So Luis Hernandez picks up his first foul. Two nothing, just underway here. Timberline leads it. And it'll be Zach Center bringing it down very slowly. Tyson Larson on the other side has it taken away. So Nampa coming up with a steal. And that's Wilcox, Cooper Wilcox with it. Couple of dribbles, kicks it back outside. 3-point shot on the way is good. It's trained right there. And that is Becker. So Becker with the three gives Nampa a 3-2 lead early. Center tries baseline, kicks it back outside, lost ball. Here comes Nampa with the turnover. They're on the run. They lose it back. It goes right into Zach Center's hands, and he lays it up and in.
Yeah, a little bit of sloppy play early on in the game right now, Wayne. It's just nobody able to get the handle on the ball.
So Zach Center with a bucket, and the Wolves have the lead, 4-3. So back and forth. They're still early in the season. Everybody getting a feel for themselves and figuring out what's going on with the team and new teammates that they've got out there. Reach-in foul going to be called against Center. That'll be his first.
And again, Timberline, no starters coming back, so they really do have to find that chemistry, and it takes a bit to do that. Just playing it out to see who plays well together, who doesn't, who should start, who should come off the bench.
Non-shooting foul, so Nampa brings it in from the far side, right in front of the Timberline bench. And that's going to be Wilcox with it. Wilcox goes down into the corner to Becker. Becker to Davenport, and they try to get it inside. Let's see, it's going to be knocked off by Timberline. So Timberline did knock it out of bounds. Good call, actually, by Becker that time from Nampa. He was kind of saying, hey, it's out of them, out on them. So Becker brings it in bounds. Right side they go. Becker, baseline, is cut off there. Gets it back outside, top of the key. That's Hernandez with it. And Center comes out on him. They go to Becker, left side. Now we're Davenport. Moving it around the top of the key, trying to penetrate it into their 2-3 zone being employed by Timberline. You kind of break it, it was just a baseline drive, nothing there. Ball's up in the air, up for grabs. Rice comes up with it. Nice defense, nice steal. Nice pass down low on the fast break. A miss, but a follow-up, and it's in by Zach Zenner. He has 4 points. The missed shot that time by Wagner, and Zenner was there with a follow-up, and then a foul on the other side, an offensive foul against Nampa, and that's going to be a ball turned over to Timberline with a 6-3 lead.
Boy, I tell you what, on that Timberline, that just shows hustle, follow-up, never give up on a play because you don't know. It may not go in, but that ball could come down to you, and that did allow them to put the points, and then Nampa comes down, rolls up with the offensive foul.
And that was Taylor Becker who picks up the offensive foul, his first foul. Nampa with 2 team fouls right now. Pass inside, knocked away. Nice defense by Becker, trying to make up for that offensive foul. But you know what? I like to see that aggressive play. I mean, I thought Becker really kind of drove to the hoop, tried to make something happen, and trying to snap that 2-3 zone by Timberline.
Well, early in the season, too, you got to kind of figure out how the officials, how are they going to call the game.
Price working on Rodriguez, kicks it back out to Zenner. Zenner now gets it over to Larson. Larson kind of drops the ball for Wagner. Wagner skips it out to Rice. 3-pointer on the way. Good. That's a 2, I think. Just a 2 for Rice. He was right out there by the 3-point land.
Had a toe on the line.
So it's 8-3. A 5-point lead here for Timberline. Nampa driving it. They cannot penetrate that zone defense right now. They're trying as they get it down low, but nothing there for Wilcox. So they bring it outside to Rodriguez. Wilcox drives inside, has to kick it out. Oh, it's just saved in the last second by Becker. And then Rodriguez has it. He'll kick it to the right. Shot's on the way. Hits the back of the rim, but goes right to a Nampa player, and that's Wilcox. And then we've got a foul away from the play. Just a reaching in foul as Wilcox kind of drove past the defender, and that foul is going to be called on Larson, his first. Second team foul. 3:19 to go. Inbounds comes to Nampa. Down by 5, 8-3 here. 3:16 to play first period. High school basketball underway here on 630 The Fan. The season has begun. We'll take you all the way to the championships in March from the Fort Idaho Center. Nice pass down low. Anthony Walker checked in the ball game. Couldn't find a handle. Lost it out of bounds. It'll be Timberline's ball.
You know, that might just have been a case of just handling the ball too much. They kept passing around, dribbling around, passing around. You know, sooner or later, you're going to lose control. You got to go to the hoop and get the shot.
Timberline will slowly bring it down. Center and Rice doing the honors. Rice on the near side of the court. Gets it over to Larson. Larson's shot on the way. Hits the front of the rim. Fight for the rebound. They're going to call it jump ball, I believe.
Ooh, a little testiness between the two players already.
Anthony Walker kind of getting into it there.
Yeah.
And he was getting into it with Chris Wagner.
Yeah, just got into the game. Coach called him to the sideline and said, come on, keep your head on.
And jump ball, and there's going to be a timeout. Let's take a 30-second timeout. But 2:48 to go here in the first period. A 5-point Timberline lead. We'll be back after this on Sports Radio 630 The Fan. Well, Dave, as we come back, it's Rice at the free throw line shooting a technical foul, and he makes it. That's the first free throw of the night. He has 3 points. The foul was against Walker, so whatever Walker did, they called it jump ball, but then whatever Walker did, as Rice misses the second free throw, it turned the ball over to Timberline.
Yeah,
so that's really, if you would, let's go back to football, unsportsmanlike conduct.
Yeah, it's exactly. They're down on the floor, a little pushing, shoving. You don't know what was said, but obviously the officials went, we're not going to put up with that, not for a second.
So Rice now with 3 points. Center has 4. Clayton has 2, and it's a 9-3 lead for Timberline over the visiting Nampa Bulldogs. Ball knocked away into the lane, picked up by Timberline, saved there, get it back to Rice. Rice working on Becker, and Becker blocks the shot, but it's rebounded nicely by Clayton, and then out of bounds. And so I think it's going to be, there's going to be a foul call. That's what it is,
exactly.
a blocking foul against Nampa.
See
And that's going to be Walker, and it's his second.
Yeah, you're not gonna ingratiate yourself with the coach by getting a technical and picking up 2 fouls that quickly.
Well, he came in, you know, just a little while ago, and he's now sitting, and he's not happy as he pounds the floor on the far side with his play. 2 personal fouls in what, about 2 minutes?
Yeah, it wasn't long, 2 to 3 minutes.
4 team fouls against Nampa right now with 2:29 to go here in the first period, and the T-Wolves holding a 9-3 lead. Again, you can catch this on streaming video, 630thefan.com. If you're headed towards a computer or your mobile device, don't do it while you're driving, though. Don't do it.
Don't think about it.
Don't even think about it. Exactly. All right, Larson kind of double team there, and then a reach-in foul is going to be called against Nampa, and it's going to be on Miguel Rodriguez. And that's going to be his first personal foul.
It's 15 fouls, so Nampa picking up quite a few right off the bat.
That one may be a little ticky-tacky, Dave. I just wanted to stay ticky-tacky. You know, it's the first time all year, and I didn't wait too long. Rice from 3. Hits the front of the rim, no good. Larson fighting for the rebound, out of bounds. It'll go to Timberline. So a good hustle there by Tyson Larson, but he couldn't quite control the basketball. And here comes the Nampa Bulldogs, down by 6. Coming up on 2 to go here in the first period from Timberline High School. Decent crowd on hand. The students here at Timberline spend the whole game standing. I think they're the guys from Duke.
Well, you know what?
The Duke Crazies.
Follow the best.
Ball goes out of bounds. Nampa will have it. Couldn't see really who it was off of because the students are standing up.
It is tough.
Tal Kropp warned me. He said, if you're going to be up top, go to the left side because the students stand up the whole game and you'll never see what's going on.
Yeah, man, if you're watching the stream in that bottom right-hand corner of the court,
You can't even see what's going on there.
Somebody's got the ball.
Yep. Nampa has it inbounds, and it's Cooper Wilcox controlling it. Larson on him defensively. Wilcox some nice dribbles, and then a little touch again, and this time it's going to be called on Larson. Reach-in foul against him. That's his second personal foul. Only the 3rd team foul, though, Dave. Yeah, look at that. You can see the pink. You can see a lot of stuff going on here on the
Streaming.
on the streaming. Rodriguez has it. Goes right side. Now in the ball game is Kalunga. Kalunga, I can't see who has it in the corner because the students, but whatever happened, I think it was knocked out of bounds, and it looked like it was knocked out of bounds by Thornsberry.
Yep, I'm very happy about that.
So Nampa will bring it in the corner. Again, ball knocked away. Nice defensive play there by Clayton. And Timberline had it and then lost it. And I think there's going to be a foul. And it was kind of interesting that time. Casey Weber committed his first personal foul, kind of reached out to Brock Rice to say, hey, man, didn't mean to do that. And Rice ignored him, and that kind of brought some moans from the Nampa folks.
Yep, they did. But, you know, it's that psychology. What are you going to do? You're going to play nice or you're going to play tough?
Second personal foul on Rodriguez. Timberline has the basketball and a 6-point lead coming up in 1:20 to go, and now we're getting fouls all over the place, and now Timberline's going to be in a 1-on-1 situation, so they'll go to the free throw line as they get into the bonus as the foul was called this time against Riley Brown, his first.
Yeah, we got $1:20 on the clock left in this first quarter and already 10 fouls called in this game.
Wow. So Brock Rice to the free throw line, 1 out of 2 tonight, makes that one. He has 4 points. And it's a 7-point ball game, 10-3 in favor of T-Line with 1:20 to go here in the first period from Timberline High School. Second one, nothing but net 5 for Rice, a 6'1 senior, leading all scorers right now. And has his team up by 8, 11-3. Wilcox, in the corner he goes. Back outside to Wilcox. He's picked up there by Center. Center playing chest-to-chest defense. Double team down low. The ball stripped away by Josh Clayton for Timberline. Nice double team defense. Clayton gets it. A nice pass underneath. They get it out to Rice from 3. No good. Hits the back of the rim. And the fight for the ball goes out of bounds, and it's going to be off of Wilcox, so it'll stay with Timberline.
Well, Brock Rice not afraid to pull the trigger on that 3. He has, I think he's hit 1 3, so actually it was a 2 as soon as on the line. But he is not afraid to take that shot.
Rice now with 5 points in the ball game. He's 3 out of 4 from the free throw line and has that 2-pointer Dave mentioned. And it'll be center bringing it in underneath their own bucket for Timberline. Center looking, he better get it in. He does just at the last second there. A long inbound pass to Rice. Rice gets it back to center. Underneath they go. Nice pass low to Josh Clayton. Knocked out of bounds by Nampa. Some good defense by Cooper Wilcox, but it'll stay with T-Line.
Yeah, Cooper just stripped him of the ball as he went up with it, but out of bounds to go. So just disrupted the offense.
So center looking. He gets it in there this time to Jack Ford. Ford back over there to Thornsberry. Thornsberry top of the key, gets double teamed, throws it away. He got double teamed. That made him nervous, and he just kind of threw the ball away. And there's some of that youth showing up, Dave.
Yep, absolutely. You know, one thing that is a little different, and maybe it's J.D. Shuck not being in the lineup. Remember last year, Nampa was scrappy, in your face, in your face, in your face, nonstop. They aren't doing quite as much of that this year.
Well, we haven't seen Sagunza. I think Sagunza is the guy that really has got scrappy, and he really sets the pace there, and he hasn't been in the ball game. And here's a drive to the hoop, a nice drive, and a blocking foul is going to be called against Timberline. Luis Hernandez drew the foul. That's a shooting foul. Foul against Thornsberry, his first. I don't think Nampa scored in, what, about 5 minutes there?
It's been a while. We'll see if they can put some points up here.
So Ingram can't do it.
I'm thinking that Timberline crowd right in his ear.
Well, Taylor Becker hit like a bucket, you know, within the first minute or so, Dave, and that's it, 3-pointer. And it stayed up there the whole time. Second free throw is good.
Well, at least they broke the drought.
Yeah. And despite the drought, it's only a 7-point game, 11-7 with 14 seconds to go. And the ball goes out of bounds. Turnover, nice defense by Nampa. So the Bulldogs, with 13.9 to go, will have the ball.
Yeah, I mentioned that scrappiness, and all of a sudden it shows up.
All right, Cooper Wilcox has it. Gets it over. They get in the corner. Nope, it's stolen away by Timberline, and then kind of an inadvertent foul there, but it's going to be has to be called. It's against Nampa. Two players just kind of got their legs tripped up, and it's going to be a foul against Nampa, and it's going to be against Riley Brown, his second.
Yeah, not the kind of thing that you want to have happen or try to have happen, but it just does.
Yeah, the ball was thrown. Both guys got their feet tangled up. The officials had to call it. You know, again, going back to football, maybe on a pass play they'll let that one go.
10 guys on the court, not going to happen in basketball.
Nope, not going to do. The free throw is good and a little strong off the glass, but Jack Ford says, hey, you know, it went in. That's all that counts. He was kind of laughing because his teammates were going, hey, you know, at least you used a little muscle. At least you didn't leave it short, dude. So 12-4, 8-point lead with 4.2 to go. Next one is perfect. Nothing but net for Ford. He has 2 points. Right now, Timberline 5 out of 6 from the free throw line. And the shot at the buzzer by Wilcox just misses left side, and that's going to do it for 1 period of play. So after 1 period of play, our score, Timberline 13 and Nampa 4. We'll be back in 1 minute after this on Sports Radio 630 The Fan. Dave, I forgot how much I like doing basketball. It's fun. First of all, I'm warm.
Yeah.
I have no problems with the weather.
Uh-huh.
And it's just kind of fun how fast it moves. 1 quarter in the books, 13-4 in favor of Timberline. Nampa has the basketball to start the second period of play. Rodriguez trying to move it on Thornsberry. His turnaround, fall-around jumper not there. Put back not there. And finally the rebound comes down to Zach Zenner. So Timberline has it. Zenner will bring it down the court. Zenner. Little fancy dribble, thought about the fall away jumper, didn't do it. Gets it to Thornsberry. Over to the right side he goes now to Wagner. Wagner back to Zenner, top of the key. He looks right side to Thornsberry. Gets it there on the right wing. Thornsberry picked up by Wilcox. Brings it back out towards midcourt. Has it knocked out of bounds by Wilcox. It'll stay with Timberline.
Well, you know, Nampa last year, I would have to say, of all the teams we watched last year play, Nampa had the scrappiest, most hustle defense that we saw. And now starting to show signs of that in this game as well, just really getting after it.
Well, again, after some poor shooting, I mean, you know, they had one three-pointer and then a free throw is all they had in the first quarter. And they're still only down here by 9, 13-4.
So they're going to have to find some sort of an offensive answer.
Zenner behind the back dribble, throws it in the lane, and he's fouled on the way in. So Zenner looks like he's going to get to the free throw line as he's fouled in the process of shooting. And the foul's going to be called against Cooper Wilcox, his first.
Yeah, no shortage of fouls. 19 fouls are being called on Nampa here in the first quarter of 3 minutes.
You know, I read the paper the other day about college, about how many fouls are being called, and people are complaining about it already as the free throw by Zenner was missed.
Tightening the nut down.
Yeah, I don't know. I think sometimes, I mean, as a defensive player in football, you know, I kind of feel for the defense. You've got to be able to have some kind of, you know, advantage. So Zenner makes the second free throw. He has 5 points in the game. He and Brock Rice are tied for the scoring lead at 5 each, and it's a 14-4 ball game. So it's our first 10-point deficit for Nampa. Nice feed underneath and a nice bucket by Rob Davenport. His first bucket of the game, and that's really what Nampa's got to do, penetrate down underneath on that 2-3 zone, Dave.
I think so, and getting Rob Davenport involved, too.
Running, leaping jumper, no good that time by Wagner. Nampa with the rebound. Wilcox, pull-up jumper from 8 feet, a little long, no good. Rebound to Nampa, and they can't get it. Finally, Timberline comes up with it. That's Kyle Mueller. And here comes Timberline on the run.
You just can't leave points like that on the board.
You know, the nice thing about it for Wilcox, it was in flow. It was just an 8-foot pull-up jumper, just a little bit long. Reach around by Davenport. Knocked the ball away momentarily, but here comes Zenner with a three. Hits the front of the rim, but comes right out to Mueller. Mueller to Zenner again. He thinks about it, says nope. Gets it left side, and the three-pointer way short by Wagner. Here comes Nampa on the run. Ball knocked away by Wagner and picked up by Livingston. So here comes Timberline. They've got it back. And Zenner's going to slow it down a little bit. 14-6 now, an 8-point ball game. Timberline with it, and they've got the basketball. Playing away from the net now, up towards half-court line is Wagner. Zach Zenner has it, drives between two defenders, scoops to the hoop. Not there, but he's fouled on the way in, and he'll get back to the free throw line. A nice move between two defenders there by Zenner.
Well, a lot of hands going at him as he drives that lane. As Nampa kind of playing that scrappy defense, and finally got caught there on the wrist.
Yep, that's Riley Brown who picks it up, his first. And so let's see what we can do here. Zach Zenner at the free throw line with 5 points. Hits the front of the rim, but nice soft shooter's touch. He has his 6th point of the game, leads all scorers, and gives Timberline a 15-6 lead. Trying to make it double figures now with his second free throw. 5:16 to go here in the first half from Timberline High School. Again, if you're out in the car listening to the game on 630 The Fan, check it out, 630thefan.com. Streaming video. Second free throw is missed. Here comes Nampa down the court quickly with it into the corner, driving the baseline, lowering the shoulder. Let's see if we got a block for an offensive foul.
I think they're calling that one against Nampa.
They are.
Foul.
It's going to be the offensive foul. I was waiting because the official was just kind of looking at Brock Rice to see if he was okay, and the foul's against Hernandez, his second.
I think that's their third offensive foul they've had called on him.
You know, Hernandez that time just really had the baseline for a moment. Rice with a quick move, but the thing of it is when you lower your shoulder like that, it's kind of like the targeting thing in football. They're going to call it against you every time.
15-6 the score. 9-point ball game. Rice with it. Gets it back outside to Ford. Ford dumps it off. Thornsberry has it. They'll get it to Rice. Rice not afraid to pull the trigger. Wilcox on him. Kind of floater in the lane, and it goes. Wow, that was pretty. 7 points for Brock Rice. And it's a 17-6 game. Timberline's biggest lead, 11. Wilcox off the glass. A little too strong. Comes straight off the rim. Here comes a one-on-one. And Timberline's going to take it all the way to the hoop. And a nice, nifty spinning move by Tyson Larson. And it's a 19-6, 13-point lead. Timberline. Timeout, Nampa.
Wow.
Just like that.
That was quite a run by Timberline there as they were able to drive the hoop and get a nice floating layup that went in there. Just some nice offense on half of the T-Wolves.
4:27 to go. First half. We'll take a 30-second break. It's 19-6 in favor of Timberline on Sports Radio 630 The Fan. The Nampa Bulldogs find themselves in a 13-point hole. Wilcox going to the lane. He's fouled on the way in. He was trying to take it to the hoop.
After the whistle, they finally get a three-point shot off the go.
Yeah, see, there's no pressure on them.
Yeah, exactly. And as a player, you're thinking, what's wrong with me? Why can't they do that in the game?
And the official walking over, they weren't sure who the foul was committed on, and we're still kind of waiting for it as well to see who it was. And it was going to be called on Josh Clayton, so that'll be his first. Only the 15th foul, 10 team fouls for Nampa. And Nampa down by 13 here, 19-6. Wilcox open from three, decides to drive in the lane, dumps it off at the last second, and a nice shot put in and a foul. And what a play there by Kyle Mueller.
Well, for Mueller, that kind of helps make
No,
up a
I'm
little
sorry.
ground.
I'm so sorry. That's Blake Gant.
Oop, wrong side.
Yep.
But for Blake, just a nice way to kind of catch up that three-pointer the hard, the old-fashioned way, as it were. We'll get him back within 10.
And I'm going to even correct myself again, okay? Early season, that's Kalunga. So Kalunga has it, and he makes the free throw, so he has 3 points just like that, and it's a 10-point ball game again. My apologies. All right, here we go. Rice has it. Coming down the left side. They go underneath to Clayton. And a foul. No basket. And Josh Clayton just kind of took it right to the hoop.
I think Kalunga was kind of reaching in there.
Yep, it's going to be against him. That'll be his first.
And again, as you mentioned, I think Kalunga, one of those guys that really sparked it defensively for him last year.
I remember him from last year. Called his name a few times. We did a couple of Nampa games last year. In fact, I think every Nampa game we did, they won.
Yeah, so they had a thing going for Nampa last year. They wanted us to do all their games.
Yeah, they call up and say, can you do every game? Because every time you're there, we win it. This time it's Clayton making the free throw. His second free throw on the way, no good. Misses the front of the rim. And walking is going to be called against Cooper Wilcox. That's great defense by Larson.
Yeah, Larson, probably the most surprised guy in the house. He thought he was going to get called for the foul.
20-9, an 11-point lead here. The biggest lead for Timberline has been 13, and they could get that or surpass it here on this possession. They come inbounds. Larson back out to Rice. His three on the way. Good. And Rice has 10 points. First player into double figures, and it is a 23-19 lead. Wow, 14-point lead as Timberline now just hitting everything. And Nampa having a tough time breaking up that 2-3 zone, Dave.
Well, I think Brock Rice, we're going to see a lot of points scored by him this year.
Wilcox drives, kicks it back out. Three-pointer on the way, no good. Rebound by Josh Clayton. So Timberline now starting to control this basketball game. Nice pass underneath, strong pass. And the bucket's not made by Kyle Mueller, but he's fouled as he went up and in, and he'll be at the free throw line.
Yeah, Brock Rice just hurling that ball clear across court, hit him just right on the block.
Cooper Wilcox picking up his second personal foul for Nampa. And with 3:13 to go here, Timberline trying to break this one wide open. Free throw no good by Mueller. Second free throw, has the ball, couple of bounces. 3:13 to go here in the first half. Mueller eyes it and misses it a little bit to the right. Diving for the ball though, nice rebound by Timberline. Here comes Rice from three. See ya, it's in. He has 13, and single-handedly, Brock Rice has taken this game over, and it's a 26-9 Timberwolves lead.
Well, Brock, I would have to say the most improved player that we've seen from last year, as he's just playing with a ton of confidence right now.
He really is. You know, last year when I saw him, a lot of times I didn't really want him to shoot because, but this year, man, he's just putting everything in. Brock Rice going to shoot again. That time, not there. Here comes Nampa on the run. Taking it all the way to the hoop, laying it up. Nope, it's not going to be there. That's Becker trying to get it to fall, and Timberline comes up with a rebound. They get it off to Rice. One-on-one. Scoop to the hoop is good. He has 15 points here in the first half, and we still got 2:20 to go, and it's a 28-9 ball game. From three-point land, and that time it is going to go for Nampa, and a nice shot there by Kalinga. He now has 6 points in the ball game.
Well, he's going to have some more of that to be able to get the Bulldogs back into this one.
28-12 as Kalunga comes up with a three-pointer. Brock Rice, his pass is stolen by Cooper Wilcox. Threw it right to Wilcox. Wilcox may be the most surprised guy in the court to get that one. He drives inside the lane, kicks it back outside. Another three on the way, not there. Didn't hit anything. It was an air ball and rebounded by Chris Wagner for Timberline.
Tell it's an air ball by listening to the crowd.
And Larson with a scoop to the hoop. It's not there, but he's going to go to the free throw line again. The penetration is drawing the fouls, Dave, and really Nampa is just racking up the personal fouls right now.
And one of the Nampa players come over to complain about the foul. And not sure if I saw, I don't think they called it technical on it, but he was real close to getting a technical foul.
You got to be careful at this point. You know, you're down 28-12. Obviously, you're frustrated because every time you try to go to put a defensive move on somebody, a foul is called.
You know what? Maybe they did call a technical on it. Yep, they did.
They did.
Yep, I thought they did. Because he came over right straight to the officials to complain about it, and the official, he was so fast, I wasn't sure if that was a technical they called or not. He was so quick on it.
So Larson's going to go ahead and shoot the technical right now.
Something tells me you didn't say, was that me who fouled him?
Yeah, it was Becker who got the personal foul. I didn't see that confrontation, Dave. I just was trying to figure out who committed the other foul. And Larson hits it. He has 3 points.
If you were watching streaming at 630thefan.com, you saw a good shot of him coming right at the ref and saying something the ref did not like.
Well, right now, Trevor Morris talking, the head coach of Nampa, talking to the official, trying to get things under control here. And that's 4 points now for Tyson Larson. And now he'll shoot his other free throws. With 1:40 to go, it's 30-12. Shot on the way, good. So he has 5 points. He's made 3 out of 3 from the free throw line on this trip. And he said, oh, I'm done? No, I'm not done. I got one more.
Holy cow.
Yeah, he's going, wow, this is kind of fun.
Shoot till you miss.
This is like practice on Thursday. Yeah, shoot till you miss. I wouldn't be there very long. Well, he did.
He's done. Maybe that's what it is.
Yep.
It's a new rule this year. Shoot till you miss.
31-12 is our score. 1:40 to go. And guess what? Timberline has the basketball because of the personal foul. So what turned out to just be a 1-on-1, you know, turned into 3 out of 4 free throws and the basketball.
Wow. And when you're behind by that much, you don't want that going on.
Center goes right side Rice. He's picked up. Nice defense by Nampa as they cut off the baseline for him. Rice trying to do a couple of dribbles. Fall away jumper from 15. Bounces around. Not there. Knocked out of bounds. It'll be off a Timberline. Nampa has
Minute 20 to go in the half. You're listening to High School Hoops here on a Friday night at 6:30 The Fan, beginning our high school basketball season with Timberline and Nampa. And right now it's all Timberline, 31-12, and a timeout by Nampa. We'll take a 30-second timeout as well, and we'll be back to close out the last 1 minute and 11 seconds of this first half. Hold on for a second. Let's keep it here because there was a timeout, but apparently there was no timeout.
Yeah, all the cheerleaders, everybody's got to get back on.
Yeah, everybody was getting on the court, and then the official said, nope, I didn't mean to call timeout. I meant to just have a change of players. So Nampa has the basketball with 1:07 to go here. Nampa down 31-12 in this ball game. This time Riley Brown, nothing there. Kicks it back outside to Kalinga. Kalinga takes it again, drives inside, looks for somebody, back outside he goes to Becker. Becker's three not there. Rebound, Brock Rice. He had a nice block out on the low post, and he'll bring it down the court. Doesn't wait, scoops to the hoop, a little bit short on there. Now Nampa comes up with the rebound. They're on the run. It's a 4-on-2 fast break. Dump it off on the right side. They get it to Becker, and Becker is going to go to the free throw line to shoot a couple as he was fouled.
Yeah, Zach Zinner got him from behind that time as he was going up to the hoop.
So for Center, that'll be his second personal foul. And this will put Becker at the free throw line. He has 3 points. His first bucket of the game he got. This time he puts it through. So he now has 4 points. 31-13 our score, with 35.5 seconds to go here in the first half. From Timberline High School. Second free throw, no good. It's the back of the rim, but Nampa keeps it alive, and they've got the ball again with 30 seconds to go. Wilcox going in underneath, and he's tied up, and it's going to be a jump ball. Nice job by Josh Clayton to tie up Wilcox, and the ball will go over to Timberline.
That possession arrow headed toward the Wolves, so they've got a chance with 28 seconds to put a couple more on the board.
Let's see if they run the clock down and just try to get the last shot. There's no shot clock, obviously, so they can do that. But they have not been wanting to do that. They've been like going 100 miles an hour this whole game, Dave.
Yeah, they have.
Center, little dribbling act out there, gets it to Rice. Rice, underhand scoop, goes down low. They kick it outside. Now back outside. Center from three, not there. Rebound fought for it over the back. I think it's going to be called against Josh Clayton with 7 seconds to go.
Yeah, not the foul you want with 7 seconds to go to pick up that quick cheap foul.
Yeah, it's his second personal foul, and with 7 seconds to go, really wasn't a necessary foul, and that'll send Nampa down the other line to shoot free throws.
Nampa hoping to close the gap just a little bit, get it almost to double the score, 31-15. Get both of these.
Well, it was 13-4 at the end of one quarter. And here comes Rob Davenport. He has just 2 points. Got those here in the second period. And he makes the free throws. So he has 3.
Good concentration by Davenport. He's got that huge Timberline student section just screaming right in his ear.
Second free throw is good. Makes them both. He has 4 points. And it's a 31-15 ball game. Down to 16-point margin. Center drives past the defense, lays it up, and he's going to be fouled.
Wow.
And I can't believe it. It's unreal. And that's Zugenza who's going to come up with a personal foul.
Well, that was smooth play on Timberline's part. They just had a few seconds, and he just came lickety-brindle up the court and went right to the hoop, got the foul. They would have taken just a few seconds to set it up. The clock would run out.
And like I said, they're not worried about the clock. They're just moving it up and down the court. Center's shot is good. So he buries it. He now has 7 points. He's 3 out of 5 from the free throw line tonight. Had 4 points in the first quarter. Now has 3 here in the second quarter. Make it 4. He has 8 points on the night, and it's a 33-15 ball game. Here comes the shot at the buzzer, and it's off the glass and no good, but it was a lot closer than a lot of people thought it might be. And so we have played one half of basketball here at Timberline High School, Dave, and it's all T-Wolves, 33-15, leading the way with 15 points right now. Brock Rice looking pretty good.
He's looking real good, playing with a lot of confidence out there, not afraid to take that three-point shot, and a lot of those shots, they're just raining them. So Brock Rice, obviously in the offseason, in the summer, playing summer ball, probably AAU ball, I'm going to guess, probably through the fall as well, and it really shows. He's just playing with a lot of confidence out there.
All right, it's halftime. We'll take a 2-minute break. We'll come back and have some halftime activities here at Timberline High School. At halftime, it's Timberline 33, the Nampa Bulldogs 15. You're listening to high school basketball right here on Sports Radio 630 The Fan. We got halftime here at Timberline High School. Basketball underway. Wayne is back along with Dave Burnett from Timberline High School. And our score at halftime is Timberline 33 and the Nampa Bulldogs 15. And Dave, I thought it'd be a little bit more competitive, but Nampa really having a hard time to penetrate that 2-3 zone as being thrown up there by Timberline. And then the T-Wolves being led by Brock Rice, who has 15 points in this ball game, followed by Zach Center, who has 8.
Well,
really too much offense.
There wasn't a whole lot, and we came into this going, okay, Nampa's got more experience. Timberline, their coach saying they're deeper, playing with confidence, and as it turns out, I think that confidence is really proving a difference here. I mean, for a long time, Nampa was running with 3 points in the game. That's all they had until finally a free throw broke the ice, and they ended up with 4 points. So, to be behind 33 to 15, you got to be sitting in the locker room going, ooh, we got a deep hole to dig out.
Let's talk a little bit about football news. A couple of breaking stories here this evening that have happened. Tweeting out is Trey Bell, the great running back from Mountain View High School, and he has had his first offer, and it's from Idaho State. The Bengals offering Trey Bell, who also today was honored as the Gatorade Player of the Year. He was also the 5A SIC Player of the Year.
Yeah, we talked about it during the Shriner game as well last week. And is he a Division I or what used to be Division II player? No doubt he's a Division II player. Could he be picked up by a Division I? There's a chance. You would think that the Idaho Vandals might take a look at him. A couple other teams that might take a look at him as well. So, he has had an offer from Idaho State. Hasn't said that, he's going to accept that.
Yeah, he was just excited. He tweeted out that he was very happy and relieved that he finally had an offer from, a school. The other thing is that, he had 1,800 yards rushing this year. He had 26 touchdowns, and he averaged 8.8 yards per carry. Those are pretty impressive numbers in 5A.
Yeah, that is real impressive numbers. And, of course, as we mentioned, Mountain View and their offensive football, they just ran very quick, very precise, and very disciplined team on both sides of the ball.
So that's one breaking news. The other bit of breaking news is the fact that Bronco Mendenhall, the head coach of BYU, is now the head coach of Virginia. Your thoughts on that, Dave? That surprises me.
That really does. I said before the game, the off there, I said, didn't Bronco Mendenhall, wasn't it Brigham Young that appointed him head coach down there, because he's been there a long time, and it's just been synonymous with BYU football. Obviously, with him leaving, it's going to change the whole complexion. And that series, the home and home series that Boise State has for the next 30 years, that is going to change everything for the Broncos when they play BYU.
BYU, and that game, of course, is at Albertson Stadium, but BYU had, being an independent, I think that starts to wear and tear on you.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if for some reason, if BYU had figured it out and somehow joined Boise State in the Mountain West and been part of that, where the schedule becomes a little bit easier. You've got some bowl games you got to go to, although they've accepted the Vegas Bowl,
Yep.
so they're going to the Vegas Bowl. So they're just obviously they're a real catch for a bowl team.
Now, here's a question: does Bronco coach that game? He has said he's done.
Yeah, he's done. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've just been looking at the breaking news, and of course we've been trying to do the basketball game. But
Yeah.
I said to you, he better be careful because at least BYU was able to beat Boise State. Virginia wasn't able to do that.
No, they weren't. So, it's going to be a whole different world for him going over and playing Virginia on the East Coast, or coaching for Virginia on the East Coast. I guess you reach that point in your career that you're kind of done. Coach Pete was that way. He reached that point that he was just done. He was done and ready to move on, take on another challenge.
And ready to move on.
As far as Boise, was that basically the poinsettia is going on just as if in San Diego, as if Boise State is going to be there.
Yeah.
The invitations will come out Sunday, but they say, we're operating as if it's going to be Boise State in Toledo.
Well, that's a good bowl. Boise State, obviously, they were disappointed in the end of their season and what happened there. But, you got to take a look at it and look back realistically. You lost your starting quarterback. And at the start of the season, Ryan Fidley was a starter, playing better than Brett Rippon. And I made this comment because several people said, did you see what he did to the Bengals? Yeah, he's playing Idaho State. Ryan Finley was playing Washington. A little bit of a difference there in the level of competition. Now, as the season went on, Brett gained some confidence and did some good things. You lost Dante Dion. You lost Thompson. And Summer Gardner. You lost three key defensive guys in there. They went through some injuries and some growing pains. And, Bronco fans, I don't think should be, a lot are disappointed. They're expecting bigger, better things. But you know what? That stuff happens. That's college football.
Brett Rippon, by the way, if you missed it, named the freshman of the year in the Mountain West and also first-team quarterback.
Which
first time that's ever happened in the Mountain West.
Kellen Moore was freshman of the year, but he was not first-team quarterback. I'm trying to remember if it was it Colt? What was the guy's name from Hawaii? Might have been the guy from Hawaii was the first-team quarterback that year.
Don't look at me like that. It's like if you don't know it, don't bring it up. Because if you're looking for me as a safety valve, I'm not one of the guys you call, as your safety valve.
I'll take a lifeline.
Yeah, that's what it is, a lifeline.
He's not answering.
I couldn't even get that right. It's not a safety valve.
I think it was the quarterback of Hawaii who might have been the quarterback of the year that year, but or maybe Carr out of Fresno. It's hard to say. There's like 18 Carrs that played down there. But for Boise State, it's good news, and I think the future is very positive for them. For BYU, everything right now is up in the air with their head coach Bronco Mendenhall leaving to go to Virginia.
All righty, halftime here. We got high school basketball for you right here from Timberline High School. The T-Wolves leading it by a score of 33-15 over Nampa. We'll take a 1-minute timeout. We'll be back after this on Sports Radio 630 The Fan. Dave, interesting note here as we come back to Timberline High School. The Nampa Bulldogs just walked out of the locker room, had no time to warm up before the second half, and pretty much came out of the locker room and walked onto the floor to start this second half.
Something tells me, and I don't see any of them bloodied, but I'm having a hunch that they got a bit of their hind end chewed on.
All right, here we go. And we'll see what happens. It's Becker outside. Now they got Wilcox, a little trip inside, and he's going to be fouled as he goes inside, and the ball was knocked away, so Wilcox will draw the foul, and he comes up wincing a little bit.
He does. I'm not sure if he's grabbing at his knee or his ankle, but not feeling well. But first team foul coming up on Timberline.
Yep, that's going to be the third on Larson, so his third personal foul, first team foul against Timberline, and Wilcox will set up the offense. Goes right side to Becker. Becker comes back down now to Rodriguez. Rodriguez high over his head with the ball to Wilcox. They try to go down low, a little different than we saw before. Nice penetration, but the shot by Davenport kind of bounces around the rim. It doesn't fall, and here comes Timberline. They get the rebound, go left side to Zenner. Larson double. Yep, he walked that time. He just kind of did a little stutter step. And a turnover.
Well, if you're Nampa, you want to get after it on defense, and you want to take advantage of every opportunity on offense to get that ball in the hole.
You really do. You know, you took it out to start the third period, Dave, and then you get it on a turnover like with a walk. You know, really, you need to put some points on the board, and you need to do it in a hurry. Becker. He goes right side to Wilcox. Wilcox back to Becker. Becker shot on the way, not there. He thought he had it because he was backing off going down to play D. And it hit the back of the rim. It came out and was rebounded by Larson.
And they tell you in Pee Wee ball, follow your shot.
Here comes Zenner going left side. Rodriguez picks him up, playing belly to belly. Larson kind of puts the ball on his hip. Now goes right side to Rice. Better get out on him. He scored 15 points in the first half. He'll shoot it up. Larson left side. Back to Rice. Again, Rice being guarded closely. And we got a foul. Can't carry the ball, I think.
Well, that's twice now. They turn it over on a foul. Then before that, they turned it over traveling.
Yeah. So it was a whistle, I meant, not a foul, and it was a carry. So a travel and a carry, and two turnovers and a first possession to start the third period, and no points yet for Nampa. So they're letting some opportunities slip away here.
Yeah, they should have been a good four.
Ah, there you go. There's a three by Riley Brown. He's on the board. He has three. That's his first bucket of the game, and you certainly got to get Riley Brown into the ball game.
Yeah, that helps. If they blew two opportunities, they should have four more on the board by now. It should be 33-22.
Ball knocked out of bounds. Nope, there was a foul that time. I couldn't see in front of there. It was Becker, so that's his third personal foul. Zach Zenner with it, working on Becker, playing with those three personal fouls now. Larson has it, goes back to Zenner. He drives baseline, makes a couple of moves, and dribbles it out of bounds. So here you go. Three turnovers, Dave, and you had the first possession of the third period, and you've only got 3 points to show for it.
Yeah, I have a hunch Nampa's coach talked about a little bit of tougher defense out there, and we've seen it.
And actually, Timberline calls timeout. We'll take a 1 minute timeout. We'll be back after this. 5:47 to play, third period. Timberline 33, Nampa 18 on Sports Radio 630 The Fan.
Brian, I think your mic is still open. I can hear us in the background. I think your mic is up. I can still hear us in the background a little bit. Sounds like a Q speaker.
The Nampa Bulldogs trailing here, have the basketball, and they've got it knocked away. That was Rob Davenport, have it down low, knocked away. Here comes Timberline on the run from the corner. Rice, no good. Rebound comes way outside, and Zach Zenner comes up with it, and he's going to be fouled this time by Becker, his 4th personal foul.
Wow.
Becker just playing face-to-face, nose-to-nose, and for no real reason because he was, 30 feet away from the basket, Dave.
Yeah, well, you're going to have to see him come out of the game.
He hasn't so far. So Becker stays in there, but he's going to play with those 4 personal fouls. Larson has it, gets it back outside, they go. Ball's kind of on the floor, running for it. Rice gets it, avoids the foul because I tell you, Becker was diving for the ball off the glass. Zenner says that's not how I planned it, but I'll take it. He has 11 points, Dave. 11 points for Zach Zenner. It's now 35-18. Timberline. Becker driving inside, a reach-in foul. Nope, nothing called. Ball comes back down. Wilcox kicks it outside. Here comes the three-pointer on the way. It's not there. Rebound this time comes back to Larson for Timberline. He's dribbling it through traffic, trying to get it down to Clayton, and Josh Clayton can't get a hand on it. It was knocked out of bounds, but it'll stay with the T-Wolves.
Well, 35-18, Timberline still ahead and commanding the game right now, but Nampa just trying to get something put together here.
Dave, and it finally got Becker out of the ball game with that out of bounds. Rice inbounds to Larson from 3, nope. Gets it back to Rice from 3, nope, a little bit long. And rebound coming down to Hernandez. Hernandez right side he goes. Rodriguez with the shot. And I'm not sure, they had a foul away from the play. I didn't see it, Dave.
Must have been because he was going to the hoop when the whistle blew, but it's not called on the shot, so it had to have been away from him.
Yep, so it's the 3rd foul on Miguel Rodriguez.
Boy, you just can't shoot yourself that way. You're trying to get back in this game.
So Rodriguez comes out of the ball game for a second. Inbounds pass by Timberline. Nice inbounds pass. Comes down to Larson. Larson, he's being watched there by Riley Brown. Timberline with Larson. Slowing it down a little bit now. They were going 100 miles an hour in the first half. They get it outside. Again, it's Larson with the basketball. In the corner they go. Cross-court pass. No shot clock. Double team outside on Larson. They try to go down low to Clayton, and the ball's knocked out of bounds by Nampa. Knocked out of bounds that time by Davenport. So Timberline will keep the ball with 3:43 to go here in the third and up 35-18. Been all Timberline.
Yeah, Brock Rice coming back in for Timberline. Took about a 90-second blow and back into the game now.
Just to make sure his arm wasn't cooled off too much.
I guess.
Here's from the corner. The shot not there. A rebound up for grabs on the floor. Everybody fighting for it. Let's see who they give it to. They're going to say it stays with Nampa. Timberline claiming the ball should be theirs, but it's going to go to Nampa.
Nampa crowd across the way very happy about that call.
Cooper Wilcox will bring it in, and he does so to Hernandez. Luis Hernandez working against Brock Rice at half court. Here they go to Riley Brown. Riley Brown driving right side, looks baseline, tries to pick it up, almost lost his dribble. They get it into the corner to Kalungua. Kalungua's shot not there. Clayton has the rebound. Gets it off to Larson. Larson on the run. Splits 2 receivers, or 2 defenders actually, and off the back of the rim. Here comes Nampa on the run now. They get it right side to Riley Brown. Brown gets it outside to Rodriguez, and they get it back to Brown. And now they'll set it up. Cooper Wilcox. He drives in the lane, makes a little penetration. That's a prayer, and it's not going to go up and in, but he's going to get to the free throw line.
Well, if nothing else, drive to the hoop and hope for the foul, at least with 2:57 left here in the third. The clock has stopped, a chance to put points on the board with a dead clock.
And that foul on Thornsbury was his second, and so here comes Cooper Wilcox to the free throw line. And Wilcox finally on the board. That's his first point of the game.
Wow, that's been a big disadvantage for Nampa. They have got to get more points out of Wilcox.
Wilcox eyes the second free throw. And that one's no good. Ball knocked away by Timberline, trying to keep it alive, but it goes out of bounds. And so Nampa will have another opportunity down 35-19. Still, Dave, not out of this game. Plenty of time, 2:55 to go third period. Wilcox Gets it inbound to Hernandez. Hernandez back to Riley Brown. Brown to Wilcox. Larson comes out on him. They go to the top post, high post. Here comes the shot from the outside. The three-pointer on the way by Brown. No good. Rebound to Timberline. So it's kind of one and done right now for Nampa. Nice pass by Larson. The bucket, the follow-up is going to go in. And a nice play that time by Jack Ford. He has 4 points in the ball game.
Heads up ball that time as he came back in after the miss, be able to put it up and in.
And Nampa throws it away. So an errant pass. And a little bit helter-skelter out there, but it's now 37-19.
Yeah, the only way Nampa is going to get back into this is take advantage of every offensive possession and then stop the play of Timberline down under their bucket.
And they got to do better than one and done. They've just been kind of throwing up prayers, and they have not been answered. And they just really can't seem to get a good shot. Turnaround jumper from the outside, not there. And there's going to be a foul down low. It's going to be a rebound foul. And it's going to be against Nampa. So Timberline will keep the ball. Timberline brings it in quickly, knocked away by Nampa, trying to save it. The ball still for grabs. It's a jump ball, middle of the court. Timberline gets it. They get it down in the corner. The shot by Larson from three is good. And Larson with 8 points in the ball game, and it's 40-19, biggest lead of the ball game. 21 points now for the Timberline T-Wolves. And they may not have any restart, and the ball stolen and then stolen back by Nampa. So Nampa trying real hard to break that zone defense, and they throw it away. And Brock Rice just kind of picks it up, and let's see if Rice will slow it down. It gets to the Larson, and for the moment, they are going to slow it down a tad.
You know, I think that last three-pointer may have been the straw that broke the camel's back, because that's just discouraging when nothing's going your way and then the opponent is draining the threes.
Jack Ford has it outside, gets it to Larson, top of the key. Larson dribbles right, now kicks it back to Rice. Rice from the free throw line, kicks it back out to Larson. Now Rice from top of the key, straight on three is good.
Sure, why not? that basket's about 8 feet around right now for Brock Rice.
18 points for Brock Rice, 50 seconds to go here in the third period. It's 43-19, biggest lead of the game now. As the Nampa Bulldogs have not been able to penetrate that stifling defense, and quite frankly, with 18 points from Brock Rice from the outside, that's really hard to beat. That three-pointer on the way, no good by Hernandez. It goes around the rim, and with 30 seconds to go, let's see if Timberline will wait for the last shot. And they are. They're going to slow it down now. Cooper Wilcox coming out on Larson. Larson behind the back dribble, being a little fancy. But Wilcox starting to play in his face, so you got to do something. Down to 13 seconds, 10 seconds now. Timberline, the fans saying, come on, shoot it. Larson going to take it, fall away jumper, and he hits it, and he's red hot right now as Larson has 10 points, and that's going to end the third period. A 45-19 score after three. We'll take a 1 minute break. It's all Timberline here tonight in our high school basketball coverage on Sports Radio 630 The Fan. And thus we begin the fourth period here from Timberline High School, 45-19. All Timberline tonight. Brock Rice with 18 points has the basketball. Timberline on offense and on defense, just having a game and a half tonight. And a travel going to be called against Timberline as they took one too many steps, turn it over to Nampa. But despite a few turnovers here in the second half, Nampa's not been able to take advantage, Dave.
No, they haven't. They've gotten the ball down there and turned it over, missed a shot, one shot, done. They've got to put something together to try to get a bit of a rally here.
Luis Hernandez gets it in the corner, gets it over there to Rodriguez. Rodriguez driving the baseline. He is fouled. Looks like Larson may pick up a personal.
Again, you know, those free throws, that's a good thing because the clock is not moving.
So Tyson Larson picks up the personal foul. I would have him with 4, and he does have 4. Free throw on the way is good. So Rodriguez gets in the scorecard tonight. His first point of the ball game comes with 7:34 to go in the ball game. He has one more free throw coming. It's 45-20, a 25-point margin here. As Timberline looking real good in their home court. They won earlier this week against Caldwell, 54-40. So they're kind of taking care of Canyon County this week.
All they have left is Valley View. Oh, Columbia.
Yeah, I got Columbia out there too. But they'll go for the daily double. The shot on the way is good. And that's a three-pointer by Kyle Mueller, and he has 5 points in the ball game. And it's 48-20 now, a 28-point lead. And you know the fans are going to be crying for 30, Dave. They want that. And they get a steal. Here comes Brock Rice one-on-one, and he is fouled at midcourt. And that is Rodriguez's 4th personal foul. And he just, instead of kind of going with Brock Rice, he just kind of, as he went by, he kind of olayed him and just reached in and
yeah, a lazy foul. Well, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, Timberline has this game well in control. To me, it'll be interesting to see once they come up against the Kobe Lees of Rocky Mountain, against Ryland Bergeson, Bora, how they do when they come against those guys.
Yeah, no question. Bora and Rocky, the elite right now, at least on paper anyway. Centennial with picking up Talon Pinckney from Capital right up there as well. And so we've got a lot of basketball yet to see before all things are decided in March at the Ford Idaho Center. But what we're seeing tonight, here comes Rice from the outside. Three-pointer, no good. Rebound by Timberline, back to Rice. Rice is fouled on his way in. Or no. I think.
Oh, and I think we see another tee thrown, and this time on Brock Rice.
Yeah, I think that Brock Rice, I thought Brock Rice thought he was fouled on the way in, and that's what I thought. And then I think I saw a traveling call against Rice.
And then I think the tee got thrown down.
So I'm a little confused because Rice tried to kind of go through 2 defenders, and he was fouled on the way in. I thought somebody reached in and got him. And I think that's what they thought too, because they've got Miguel Rodriguez up there for 5 personal fouls. So I'm waiting to see. That would mean Rodriguez fouls out.
Well, I was trying to watch on our video streaming at 630thefan.com. It runs about 40 seconds behind what's actually happening to see what could happen there. And I got there too late. I got there in time, I think, to see the technical call.
So they're kind of waiting. So I think Rodriguez is out of the ball game with 5 personal fouls. With 6:49 to go here, the officials are talking over there with Bruce Logsdon from Timberline just to explain kind of what happened and what the situation is.
Now they're coming over to the Nampa bench.
See, Rice thought he was fouled, and then they one of the officials made a traveling motion as if he traveled going through those 2 defenders, and that's why he blew the whistle. That's what Rice got upset about.
And I thought I saw a technical throw.
But what I see now is they've got Anthony. Well, that can't possibly be the case. Was Walker in the ball game?
Yep.
Because they're saying Walker got his 3rd personal foul, and the officials are still talking it over. And if that's the case, that 2 of those would have been tees. And I don't know about you, but I thought 2 technicals got you thrown out.
At one point, yep. See ya. He is heading to the locker room.
So he is gone. So that's what it is. And you know, it just took a while to figure it all out. So Anthony Walker is out of there with 2 technical fouls tonight.
So was it Walker that? No?
So apparently it was Walker.
But they're not shooting a technical.
I'm not sure what happened.
I know this. Walker got ejected from the game. Let's go with that.
So something must have happened. So there must have been nothing with Brock going in, between the defenders. Something happened on the court. That ball's knocked out of bounds. Let's see who they give it to. They're going to keep it with Timberline. Oh, well.
Yeah, something happened there, and Brock reacted. I thought he got the technical. It must have been on Walker, but they did not shoot anything, so they just ejected him.
All right, so Anthony Walker from Nampa ejected from the ball game. 48-20 is our score. All Timberline, and Timberline has the basketball. In the final stanza here with 6.5 minutes to play. Timberline working the ball around from the outside. Not there. Rebound comes down. And nope. Rebound being fought for underneath. Taken away by Thornsberry. Thornsberry loses it out of bounds, but they say it looks like the last one to touch it was Taylor Becker from Nampa. So Timberline has the ball.
Well, I know this, Wayne, for Anthony Walker, a kid who is 6'7", he has all the size, he's going to have to get the mindset, because you can't come in here and start thinking you're going to boss the officials around.
We've got some pushing and shoving going down there, too. Right now, Ziguinza for Nampa was pushing and shoving around Kyle Mueller. So there's some tempers flaring down there in this one-sided game. The shot is good. And a nice bucket that time by Thornsberry. That's his first bucket of the game. So he has two, and it's 50-20. It's a 30-point margin. And you know what? Nampa's better than this, Dave.
Yeah, they are.
Wilcox drives baseline, picked up, kicks it outside. Here comes the three-pointer on the way by Becker. He's a little bit too long. Nothing's falling for Nampa. They couldn't throw it in the ocean. Here's another shot by Wilcox. Not there, and a foul's going to be called underneath. It'll be turned over to Timberline.
Wow.
Yeah, so nothing's going right for Nampa. And, you obviously have to feel bad for them, because they are a much better team than a 30-point margin here would indicate. That foul, the fourth on Riley Brown.
Yeah, they've been hustling. Just things aren't working for them. And, sometimes you have that night. You do everything you're supposed to. You get open, you drive the lane, you shoot the shot. It just does not work sometimes.
Jack Thornsberry at the free throw line now. He just scored his first bucket of the game. Free throw on the way. No good. Misses to the right. Nampa comes up with a rebound. Wilcox has it. Wilcox drives the lane. Pulls up off the glass. Good. And they needed to do a whole lot more of that a whole lot sooner. 3 points now for Wilcox. Makes it 50-22 with 4.5 minutes to go here in this basketball game. Ball knocked away, Wilcox, and a foul called away from the play. Wilcox knocked it away, and he was going in for a layup, and an official away from the play called a foul.
Yeah, I guess it's a little bit of that roughhousing going on under the bucket down there, and the official's not going to tolerate it.
So that's going to negate the fact that Wilcox made a nice steal and could have taken in for a layup, and that instead is going to be a foul on Noah Ingram, his first, and it's going to send Thornsberry to the free throw line where he just missed a moment ago and misses here. And Wilcox comes up with a rebound. So Wilcox, he'll take it to the lane. It worked last time, but he kicks it back outside. Zagunza's shot, not there. Rebound to Nampa. Nampa still fighting for it. They still have it underneath the bucket, and this time a foul is going to be called, and it's going to be against number 34. That's Carlos Trejo, his first for Timberline.
Timberline getting a few different players in the ball game, getting him some court time.
It's going to send Rodriguez to the line, and again, just nothing is falling tonight. Rodriguez now 1 out of 3 from the free throw line, has 1 point in the ball game. And new player checking in. That's Casey Weber for Timberline checking in.
And the crowd goes nuts for him. It's, that guy that never gets into the game, and the crowd knows it, and they're excited to see him in a game.
Here's the second free throw, no good. 1 out of 4 tonight for Rodriguez, who has only 1 point in the ball game. And it's 50-22. 28-point margin here. Zenner with the ball. Moves it around over here to Trejo. Trejo gets it to Zenner. The crowd wants Weber to get the ball. He's open, and it's stolen. He was open for a minute, but a nice steal by Wilcox. Wilcox going up against Center. Center's going to come up with a personal foul. His third. And that's going to send Wilcox to the free throw line.
Well, I think for Timberline, they could be very happy. Bruce Longston with what he sees tonight in this team. Good hustle, good shooting. They've had a good night.
4 points now for Cooper Wilcox. All 4 of those here in the second half. And pretty much all coming against really second teamers here as Coach Longston just kind of clearing out his bench. Second free throw goes around the rim, no good. Timberline still blocking out nicely, doing the things you need to do. Right now they just got Zenner in there. He's the one guy. They want somebody in there to handle the ball. So Zenner's going to do the chore. We're under 2 minutes to play here in the ball game. 50-23. And nice pass underneath. Wow, that was a nice pass by Weber. Didn't get the assist. Ball knocked away. Goes right to Timberline. Timberline has it. Zenner will back it out, and they'll start all over again. So Timberline now with $1:20 to go. Working right side, working against Wilcox. Center has it. Gets it over to Thornsberry. Thornsberry has the ball knocked away by Wilcox. Man, he's playing some good defense. Takes it all the way in, and the ball's blocked at the last second. I thought it was a nice clean play by Carlos Trejo, and he's going to get called for a foul.
Yep, not going to be clean enough as he goes to the hardwood.
Actually, I guess they got Thornsberry from the other side. Trio was there, Thornsberry was there. So Trio did get him cleanly, but it was Thornsberry who got him before Trio. But again, just like that,
wow.
Wilcox cannot find the bucket tonight.
Yeah, how many missed free throws it would have gotten you at least a little closer.
A little closer.
The clock is running.
His second free throw is good. He has 5 points, and we're down to 30 seconds to go in this ball game. 50-24, all Timberline tonight. Zenner, they're calling for Weber to take a shot. Here's his shot. Oh, he just missed it. So the crowd was ready for it. Nampa with the rebound. 10 seconds to go. Wilcox has it, drives it to the lane. Floater in the lane. Wilcox has it. He has 7 points in the contest. Again, all of those here in the second half. And Timberline just going to let this one float away. And our final tonight is going to be 50-26 in favor of Timberline as the T-Wolves dominate this game. And it was Brock Rice with 18 who led all scorers. We'll come back to recap it after this 1 minute timeout on Sports Radio 630 The Fan. We're still on the air. So. And welcome back, everybody. It's all over here. Timberline dominating Nampa tonight by a score of 50-26. Timberline with 3 players, Dave, at double figures, led by Brock Rice, who had 18. Zach Zenner had 11, and it was Ty Larson. He had 10 points. So those 3 really doing all the damage.
Yeah, not a whole lot of size in Timberline, but they played with confidence out there. They played a quick game and good defense on their side as well. So Nampa struggling just a bit tonight. I think Nampa's better than that. I think we'll see them progress as the season goes on. But as I said, I'll be fascinated to see Timberline as they get up against Ferguson and Bora and against Kobe Lee at Rocky Mountain to see how they do against those 2 teams.
All right, the basketball season is indeed underway here on 630 The Fan, and we'll be coming to you, from time to time, bringing you basketball games.
Yep.
We'll keep you posted as we kind of select games and go from there.
Yeah, this pre-Christmas season is
Right.
kind of hit and miss. Once we get past January, it'll be a regular.
Get into January, then it'll be a regular every week, but we're kind of taking a look. But we want to thank our sponsors again, Steve's Hometown Toyota, Go Wireless, Boise Muffler, Foot and Ankle Medical Center, Double R Ranch, the Battery Exchange, and Pioneer Federal Credit Union. Again, the final tonight, all Timberline as they win their second game this week. 50-26 over the Nampa Bulldogs. For Dave Burnett, I'm Wayne DeZubak. Thanks for joining us. You've been listening to high school basketball right here on Sports Radio 630 The Fan.